AI in sales. Sounds amazing, right? More leads, faster follow-ups, 24/7 automation. But here's the truth most people don't want to admit. AI won't fix your sales process. It will break it first. Most salespeople rush into thinking that this is some magic button. But what actually happens? Their outreach gets ignored, their leads get confused, and their brand starts to sound like a robot. I've made these mistakes myself, but I've also learned how to use AI in the right way to boost what works, not scale what's broken. So what I've seen in my school community is that rebuilding sales workflows from the ground up, optimized for AI from day one. So if you're using AI or you're thinking about it, don't skip this. This one shift could save your entire sales process. So hey guys, Jake Dawson once again, and hello to any new watchers of this video. On this channel, we discuss all things AI and automation, how to make your workflows more efficient, smarter, and working for you instead of you tirelessly repeating the same monotonous tasks. So today, we're discussing the smart way to implement AI into sales processes. Not just jumping right into it, but really what you need to consider before doing that. So what I mentioned before is how AI can break your sales process. Now, how does that happen first? The first problem that happens is that by implementing these systems, you can significantly increase your volume. But without the right personal and human touch, you might go off brand a bit, you might confuse some of your clients, and that's not something that we want to do. We want to scale an efficient system that provides the best of both worlds. So you've probably seen this before, whether you've gotten an email or created a prompt yourself within ChatGPT. You write a prompt, and then the result that you get back is not quite what you're expecting. It's less than ideal. Now imagine salespeople or business processes going right into this without having a more refined knowledge of prompt engineering. And then all of a sudden, whoops, 100 customers now get this less than ideal response. So these are the dangers that I'm talking about in today's video, what you want to pay attention to before you start implementing this into your sales and business processes. Yes, AI has a great potential to increase your volume. But if it hasn't been prompted correctly, if you haven't set up a database to really get the right answers that your customers are asking, to really get the right on-brand, those outreach messages, it has the potential to be less personal, sound robotic, and be off-brand. So you don't want to increase your volume while at the same time getting less than ideal prompts. So basically, we don't want to sacrifice that personal touch just to get more volume, just to get more customers and respond to more people. What's going to happen is conversion rates will start dropping. So I actually had this problem myself. When I first started setting up auto replies, I could not get the LLM to respond in a way that really sounded like me. I hadn't prompted it correctly. And basically, I learned over time how to do that, how to set it up to deliver a better response from the language model. And so now what I'm going to share with you is the best tips that I have for this moving forward. So tip number one is you want to be as detailed as possible when you're prompting this. So for example, if you're prompting a response to a customer's question, you cannot simply just say, respond to the question. You need to let them know who you are, who's responding, give them your age, give them your personality. As much as you can prompt the language model about the tone that you want the response to be in, the better. For example, for myself, I would say I'm a man in my 30s from Austin, Texas, and I have this type of personality. I'm even likely to joke around a little bit at times with my customers. This is something that will not happen naturally if you don't prompt it first. So tip number one is be as detailed as possible regarding your tone and how you want to come off in your response. Tip number two is consider the formatting. When you're engineering a prompt, you need to consider, do you want this format to be in HTML? Do you want it to be in plain text? How do you want the links to appear? Are you responding to an email or is this in a chat thread? Considering this is really important because basically you want to keep the continuity of your message so it remains feeling human. If you're having a conversation with a customer and then automatically the text changes and the indents change and it just feels different, you're going to know something's up. I would know something's up. So that's tip number two. Really consider the formatting when you're prompting this. Tip number three is to consider your templates. Basically, how you want to respond to your customers or how your organization is typically responding to queries. You can use different examples for different type of queries. For example, this type of question, I would respond in this way, provide an example. another type of question, I would respond to it in this way: provide the example. And basically, as many examples as you can provide and as many variables as you could provide will only make the responses better. You can essentially create a database using templates and examples to even better improve your responses. So once you've gathered all of this, you essentially have a database that your chatbot can now reference to appropriately respond to any type of question that it's going to get moving forward. So I'm sure many of you have tried automation before, or if you haven't, you're very curious to start implementing these processes into your business. And a lot of people out the gate, they want to automate everything. They want to take their entire business and just have it run automatically. But my advice would be to not do that and to start small. So ask yourself, what is one small process that you can start with first? In my mind, data entry and similar jobs, these are the easiest things to automate first. Moving data from one application to another. This is a great place to start, and this is something that can save you hours of time. So I would get this process working first before you move on to other areas of your business. So another very important thing to consider before jumping in and automating processes in your business are the hidden costs of automating and using AI in your automations. For example, to use OpenAI or ChatGPT, it costs per word that you are generating. So if you're sending out hundreds of emails and each email is 1,000 words each, this will add up. And for example, if you're just testing out an automation, it's not even running live yet, and you're testing it on too many people and you're testing it with too many words. If you haven't adjusted those parameters from the start, you could end up spending a lot more money than you anticipated, even before you have the desired result that you want to spend money on. So this is really important to consider out the gate. Another important point is how to use AI in the right way. The golden rule should be AI should assist salespeople, not replace salespeople. Basically, the person that's closing the deal at the end of the day should be a live human. And what AI should be doing is providing them with the data, the resources, doing the market research that's needed relevant to closing a client. This is a very important point. You should have AI handling your lead lists, following up with clients, and pre-qualifying leads. But you want to save the high value conversations for the real humans, the real salespeople doing that work and closing those deals. I would say this is an important way to implement AI and automation into the sales process. So to wrap it all up, I'll just give the biggest takeaway I would have from this video, which would be to start small. Pick one small process that you want to start automating. Save your time there, get that correct, get it working, and then think about moving on to bigger processes in your business. If you found value in this video, go ahead and give the channel a thumbs up and subscribe. Once again, we have a link to our school community in the description below. We have tons of resources, templates there, and a wonderful support network of people who are all learning how to implement these processes in their business together and doing it the right way. Once again, this has been Jake Dawson talking about all things automation. Oh, and before I forget, I did leave a small gift for you in the description below. Go ahead and check that out. I will see you in the next video.